Because we're going to keep him longer, please ask your Villanova questions for today. Please wait for the microphone before you ask a question.
What?
We're not going to do it nilly-willy on Tuesday, so.
Oh,
Who would
yeah.
like to start out? Maggie, go ahead.
Starting with Aubrey, to see her back, because she didn't play for very long, but how comfortable did it look to see her out there, and how did she feel after you had a chance to talk with her?
I'm sure she's a little bit sore and a little bit tired, and when you haven't played in so long, that's why I wanted to play her in short spurts. You see some of the things that she likes to do, right? So I thought she had fun. I know for sure she had some fun. Just putting that uniform on and going out there, and the reaction from the crowd, and I'm thrilled for her. I really wasn't expecting anything at all. I was just happy to see her out there, and we'll build on it little by little.
Coach, 9 or 13 turnovers were in the second half, and even though you're up that big like you were today, is that something you still want to clean up even in garbage time like that?
No. A lot of the guys that were turning it over in the second half, they don't play together much, that group, so the chemistry's not great. So no, I don't worry about that. If the guys that are playing 30 minutes are turning the ball over a lot, then that's a problem.
Could you had such a complete day from the big three. I mean,
Yeah.
How has the chemistry with those three come along? Is there a point where you've started to see it really click with them?
As a matter of fact, I said that at halftime, that if you look at it in the total picture of how it started defensively, how the offense flowed from the defense, and then what those three were able to do, it's not a recipe for going and saying, okay, you're going to win the national championship because you have three terrific players. I do think that if the three of them are playing at a real high level and executing their stuff the way they did today, we have an opportunity. We have a chance. We put ourselves in a chance to win, most of the games that we're going to play the rest of the season. What that leads to, I don't know, but I think the confidence that those three have in themselves and each other, I think is a huge factor. And then it's funny how everybody else starts making shots because those guys are making shots. It's a lot easier for everybody else. But when it's clicking like that, it's really it's really fun to watch.
Geno, there was a nice ovation and a nice moment for Paige when she scored her milestone point. How gratifying is it for you to see her have accomplishments like that and moments like that, just given the amount of time she's been here, what she's put into it, and kind of some of the ups and downs she's had through a roller coaster experience?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the points, they signify something. Obviously, they mean a lot. To be able to put that many points on the board in that short period of time is one tremendous accomplishment. To be able to do it in spite of the ups and downs and the missing an entire season and a third of another season, to stay mentally locked in, to stay positive, and to still be, committed to putting the work in. There's a lot that goes into being able to be out there and make the shots that she makes, given what she's been through. And I don't know how many people. I don't know too many people that work at the game, as hard and as often as she does. So I'm glad that she's being rewarded, and you know, I'm sure there's a few more points in her future.
You know, one of the people here is Carrie Bascom.
Yeah.
When you see her, how much do your players appreciate how that started, how her group, this wouldn't be happening without her
Yeah.
group, and how much do you enjoy her when she comes down?
Yeah, yeah. I had a conversation with her dad today after the game, and I said, you know, it's really the evolution of the game, right? 30 years ago, 35 years ago, maybe, yeah, 35 years ago, you know, when Kerry was playing, she was somewhat unique in the fact that we used her as a point guard, a shooting guard, a center. You know, we played her every single place on the floor. The three-point line had just come into existence, you know, and I was determined to take advantage of it. And she was an all-around true basketball player, and tremendous confidence. And the game came sort of easy for her, you know, 3-time Big East Player of the Year, you know, All-American, Final Four. And I used her as an example when we were recruiting Sarah. And I thought, this is what 35 years later gets you, you know. And when talking to her dad and then talking to Kerry, you know, they both like nodded their head and smiled and said, yeah, you know, when I first saw her play, they said that's exactly who I thought of. So it's ironic that, you know, she came here and saw, you know, Sarah do the exact same things that Kerry was doing on the exact same court 35 years ago. And the fact that a lot of people came up to her and knew who she was and knew of her accomplishments. I still think the greatest story ever about Carrie Bascom is when we first started selling tickets to games, and she came back to a game and she was going to her seat, and there's, you know, points, where however many points you have by donations, that's where your seats are. And she was going to her seat and somebody said, how'd you get those seats? She said, they just told me these are my seats. He said, well, how many points do you have to get them? She said, 2,177. You know, it was like one of the greatest lines of all time, I thought.
Going back, you said you're not really pleased at your rotations defense and how they're playing together, but you feel like they're finding their individual roles. You know, I looked really good today, Morgan looked good. Do you feel like they're comforted in what they're doing, at least individually?
We're getting a little bit better individually, but we're somewhat challenged at certain positions individually. So we have to be really good team defensive wise, and when we are connected like we were today, when we're communicating like we were today, our team defense is really good, and that makes up for whatever shortcomings any individual has. But you know, we're getting better at the things that you need to be better at to win, you know, come NCAA tournament time, and keeping people off the free throw line, you know, not giving up uncontested, you know, open threes, uncontested drives to the basket, second shots. There were a lot of things that happened today that we need to clean up, but we're getting better at those things, and that's a great sign. Because you keep forgetting they're so young still, and it drives me crazy, but they're still young. Yeah.
This is one of Paige's better passing games on top of the scoring and everything. Just how much do you see things open up for her when you have Azzi and Sarah playing the way they were today?
I think there are times when we, whether it's we're mentally tired, you know, we've been on the road a lot, and I think the Georgetown game specifically and St. John's game, I think for long stretches, both of those games were played at a pace that doesn't necessarily suit us. And we get back home, you know, we get a couple days, and now we're on our home court, and we get our crowd, and we're flying up the floor, and that's giving Paige a lot of targets. You know, she's like a quarterback back there trying to find, you know, everybody that's out there. And when we have that, then she's really, really dangerous with the ball. And then having, you know, AZ over here, Sarah over there, Ash over there, you know, and it's just like a lot going on for the other team to have to guard. And playing like that has to be the goal today. That the standard has to be at that pace. So something to build on again today. It was great for them to see that today.
You know, two things I saw Paige say. First of all, she had multiple opportunities to get 2,000 and she's passing the ball, and you know, and the second one is first time Aubrey comes in, she gets her the ball as soon as humanly possible. What does that say about her?
Yeah.
Just knowing, reading the room a little bit and knowing what's the right thing to do.
She does. She does. She knows. She's aware. She's very perceptive when it comes to what the moment is. She has a great feel for not just the game, but the people that she's on the court with and what they need to be successful. And I know that everybody was hoping that Aubrey would get a couple touches. And, you know, certainly Paige is very aware of that. And when you know that the 2,000 points is inevitable, you probably can be a little more casual about it and wait for it to happen. And I'm glad she did. I'm glad she did it the way it happened today. Today was a really good day. Today was a really, I mean, there are a lot of really, really cool things that happened today, and I thought Paige played one of her better games.
Anything else for Coach? Daniel?
Early in the season, you were talking about a lot about consistency and that you could carry one good quarter over to the next. But you know, even with today, have you seen that start getting better and you guys finding more of a middle ground?
Yeah. You know, the first 3 quarters today, actually, but the first 2, we came out and the defense was responsible for a lot of what happened down the other end. But we also, the last couple of days of practice, we kind of slashed our offensive playbook a lot. You know, I think there were way too many things to choose from. You know, we gave them a bar menu instead of the whole dinner menu. You know, so we just scaled it down to 4 or 5 things that we wanted to do and just stick with those the entire game. And I think that the confidence and the flow comes from that. And we were consistent in shooting the ball, you know, and that's where that's where it all comes from. We didn't have a lot of, you know, droughts where we go, you know, 10 straight misses. Everything flowed the way you would hope it would, and I'm pleased. I really am. I'm happy for them. They look like they were having fun. Sometimes it's, you know, this time of the year, right before school starts back up again, these are like the dark days, you know. There's no school, they hang around, they do nothing. So I think the excitement now of, you know, getting back to their regular routine, you know, I think that energized us. And then, like I said, being home was huge. Huge.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Players will